were able to come back after that?
Well, it's a twisted ankle. And as for how I came back, I'm not sure. You know, I stayed out there and did what I could, and I think he let it get away from him a little bit. I'm not sure. I don't think it's much about what I did from there, besides just staying out there.
Were there points when you were down, you seemed to yell out in pain? Did you think initially, like, I'm done for the night, or did it not get to that point?
Yeah, I mean, when you first go down, I mean, you don't know how it's going to feel until you take those first couple steps, and you know, unfortunately, it's become all too familiar recently. I didn't want to stop, though. I mean, I'm really sick of doing that.
And it was sort of like Australia all over again, but this time he kind of shook it off, got up there and played longer and managed to close it out.
Yeah, I mean, similar but different injuries. I mean, when you're dealing with muscle tears, the feeling is distinctly different than an ankle. I've dealt with this before. I know what the pain is. I know, short of it's going to hurt, it's not going to feel comfortable. But I don't think this is something where I'm risking months and months of damage by continuing. So I think that's probably the thought process. You know, you hear guys talk about, I mean, you just don't want to do something where you're going to make it worse by months.
So when you screamed out when you're on the ground, were you pretty sure that you did not do major damage to the ankle, or at that point?
I didn't know then. Like I said, I mean, you feel if you do really bad, ankle sprain or a light one like this, you don't know really until they feel the same until you really take those steps. When I first did it, I thought that was I knew there was a distinct possibility that probably was it. Frankly, it should have been. I mean, he had that forehand where he was sitting, and that was probably the match. I did what I could. Probably the best thing I did was just exist out there.
Is there a little bit of a rookie thing going on for him, letting maybe that moment sort of take him out of his momentum, do you think?
I don't know if it's a rookie thing. I mean, I think it's easy to play with zero expectation and zero pressure. It becomes a different dynamic mentally when all of a sudden the finish line's in front of you and you feel like you should get there. That's my take on it. He started missing more balls when I was hurt than when I could actually move. So it seems like that might have been the case. I don't know that it's an age thing. It's just maybe a psyche thing.
Andy, I guess it's sort of a positive though. You managed to scrape one out, and you'll actually play another day rather than having to go back home and work on rehab again, huh?
Yeah, I get to rehab here before Friday. I mean, I've had some of my best tournaments after really, really ugly first round matches. If you get through them. I mean, listen, I've learned this far along. You go into a day wanting to get a win, and if you come out of it with a win, then that's that, and you move on. You think about what you can do better and go from there. And thankfully, probably wasn't as straightforward as I would have liked, but like you said, you get a W, you move on. It's the same result regardless of how you went about it.
You mentioned that he maybe didn't play his best match after the injury, but he does some things nice out there where you impress with some of his play.
Yeah, I didn't know he played that aggressively. From what I'd heard, he was more of a retriever. I'm not sure if it was a tactical thing or a style thing. I'm not sure if he does that all the time. I had looks early on that I played shocking points on, and then I think he got comfortable after that and started finding his range and played really aggressively. He played really aggressively, and he was converting a lot of them. It's funny because I a lot of times I see the best of guys, and when I look back, in 2 weeks, and if he has a suspect loss in the Challenger, I don't understand it. But like I said, it goes back to I always say winning matches you're supposed to win makes a career. Winning a match that's unexpected is probably a little bit easier mentally sometimes.
So Andy, how do you feel just coming on the court? I mean, you're coming off the hamstring injury to begin with. And you look a little tentative at times, a little unsure. Other times you look like you knew, what you want to be doing. At times you've had so few matches.
Well, I know what I want to do, but there's a difference when you've probably played less days, or sorry, you sat, haven't played more days than you've played in the last 3 or 4 months. It's not easy. It's like anything else. You need your repetition. So it is. I said before this tournament, I was under no false illusions that it was going to come and click right away. I mean, it's going to take a match or two to get my feet into this event, and I've actually done that before at this event. So each match will get increasingly better. It's just a matter of if I can get to that better before I'm gone.
Do you think you'll start wearing the ankle braces again as a precaution after tonight?
Yeah, probably.
How did your hamstring feel
I
tonight?
said a couple of days ago that once you make the decision to play, I don't think I'm gonna. It's not gonna be perfect for a while, and I don't think I'm gonna get in the habit of a day-by-day analysis of how it's feeling. It always annoys me when people do that, and so it's good enough. I'm gonna play on it.
Any more questions?
Yeah, Andy, you broke him to go up 4-3 in the final set. Can you talk a little bit about that game? Was that more important, or was the importance of that game and how it helped you close out the match?
Well, yeah. I mean, when you're on serve, the next goal is to be up and break. So it was extremely important. Also, I felt like I was serving from behind a lot of the match, and it felt good to actually be in the lead for the first time in about 2.5 hours. So it was necessary there.
Changing topics just slightly, Andy, did you enjoy watching the U.S. Davis Cup over the weekend?
Oh, it was great. I was ecstatic. I said it's the most impressive road tie I've seen. The way, how convincing it was, and how straightforward it was, and Marty being down, being up, letting it go, recovering, and then they just played lights out. So, and then they came out and just did what they had to do in doubles. And one of my favorite stats is I think Marty's 6-0 in live doubles ties in Davis Cup. It's pretty impressive, and I don't think I've ever heard it talked about.
You of course faced Isner in big stage in New York and had a tough match with him. Have you always known that he was capable of doing something like that, even on clay away?
Well, he should be. I mean, I've always said it. When he was, after Miami or whatever it was, he was 45 or 50 in the world last year. That's not where he needs. That's not where he should be. I think he should. I think he should be higher than what he is now. He's got the biggest weapon in tennis right now, and no one's comfortable. I mean, he can take you. He can take the racket out of your hands. So. And it's not. He's got such good tempo and such good rhythm for someone so big. It's not. His service motion doesn't look awkward at all. So I think he's honestly. I think he's finally realizing, where he can be.
And did you expect him though to be ripping return winners off Federer's serve?
Well, again,
consistently. It's not.
Again,
it's never been the strength of his game.
You free up.
Yeah.
Free up. He didn't know, and it's I'm going to beat a dead horse here tonight. I think with that, but it's a different animal. They're up 1-0. He doesn't have anything to lose. He loses that match. No one says a thing, and he freed up. He was seeing the ball big, and he was in the zone.
Okay, anything else? All right, thanks, Andy.